Well, welcome to SK Graphics. Today we are going to learn how to image trace. First, I will show you where to locate your image trace. Just go up here on your Windows bar and you will click Windows Image Trace. It'll show up over here on your sidebar if you have it set up that way. What is image trace? Image trace is the feature in Adobe Illustrator, is the quickest way to convert your image to a vector format for a high quality printing at any size. Unlike raster images, vector images are made up of mathematical paths that allow the design to be scaled infinitely while retaining its quality. Here's how to easily convert a raster image into a vector image using the image trace tool in Adobe Illustrator. First thing I did was I pulled in this dove from one of our members who is trying to learn how to image trace. So right up here, now you can see, because I have an image here, this now shows up here in my taskbar. It has image trace, mask, and crop. I've already cropped it down to size, so now there are different features within image trace that you can start with. You can see there's high fidelity photo, low fidelity photo. You can start with 3, 6, or 16 colors, shades of gray, black and white logo, sketched art, silhouettes, line art, technical drawing. All of these options are simple paths that you can click on. They do not always work out the best, so I'm going to briefly show you a couple of these. We'll start with three colors, and you can see what it changed its path to. Let's do shades of gray, silhouette. So you can see it's not always the best, and sometimes you don't know until you click on it and you try to see what is the best one. So the one that looks like it's going to work the best is the high fidelity photo. I'm not 100% satisfied with this here, so I'm going to go over here to my sidebar and click on the image trace. Let's scoot this over a little bit. These are many different options that you can play with. There's also underneath the advanced colors. So in your modes, you can either keep it as a color, you can change it to grayscale, which we started out with a black and white grayscale, so it's not going to change that much. You can also change it to black and white, and you can see that's a very drastic change. So we're going to stick with color for this one. You have your colors, which is less and more. It goes all the way up to 100. And then we're going to bring it down to 7, just so it's very simplified. You can bring it down. We can go as low as, let's see, 5. Let's change it down to 3. So then you have your paths, your corners, and your noise. Paths, you have your high and low. It usually starts out at 50% automatically. So let's bump it up to 98 just to see what it changed to. See, it just changed just a little bit. Now let's drop it down to 7. And so you can see you got finer edges, but they're still kind of crispy in there. Corners, again, you have less and more. It starts out at 50%. We're going to bump it up to 95. See, it's kind of sharp on some of those edges. So let's lower that down to 6%. Your noise goes from 1 to 100. Right now, this one is set at 5. So let's bump this up to 94. You see I got rid of some of this right here because it recognizes it as noise. So you'll probably just want to bring it down. These bars, just scroll through, and as long as you have on preview mode, it's going to show you what it's going to look like in real time as you're messing with it. Now I keep messing with it because our eye in the dove has disappeared. There we go. So I dropped the noise down and the eye came back. So this is okay. It's not perfect, but I'm satisfied with the image. So now what you'll do is you can see that even though you have many different paths, and I can show you, they're all connected. You want to separate your paths. You're going to click on your image, and up here in your top bar you have expand. Depending on how big your photo is, this may take a minute or two. You can see this took about 2 seconds for it to expand. By expanding it, you're separating all of your layers, all of your paths, but you can see they're all still connected. So all of this white in the background is not necessary to have because I'm only wanting this dove. So what you're going to do is I like to pull it over to my gray background just so I can actually see what I'm working with because it's a white background. White on white does not work very well. You have your image selected. You're going to ungroup your selection. You can do that by one of two ways. You can go up to Object and Ungroup or Shift-Control-G. Either way, it does the same thing. So now it selects one path at a time. And now you can do some cleanup on your work. You can either delete these individually. Usually the quickest way is if you make one selection, although we're dealing with a white bird, and if you want to keep the white inside, it may not work as well. But the concept is still the same. So you just make one selection. You go up here to your toolbar and you're going to do Select. Same. You'll either do Fill and Stroke or Fill Color. The stroke is your outline. Generally, when you do this, you're not going to have an outline, so it's not necessary to do fill and stroke. So we're just going to do fill color. What that recognizes is all of that same color that I selected. So you can see it even took out the middle of the bird. If you don't want the middle of the bird, just hold your Shift key down and click on that area. So see, it got rid of that. And let's do the wing. So now we have just the dove. You can zoom in and get rid of some of these excesses on the sides that it may have not gotten rid of. You can also, if you do not like all these multicolors of the gray, you can do selections by holding down your Shift key and select all of these, because let's say I want all of these the same color. Click on Pathfinder, Unite, and now it's all one piece. It's all one color. Just to show you really quick, a different image. Let's do a rose and click on image trace. It automatically went to black and white. So I'm going to do a high fidelity photo just because I know I want all of these layers and I want it to be a vector piece. Now you can't really tell because of how well of a job this did, but I will zoom in and show you. See all those different layers. Look how beautiful that turned out. Isn't that great? So really, honestly, I don't want to do anything over here in this image panel because I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and expand all those little layers. That's what it did to this photo. Control Shift G. I ungrouped. And now if I want to, I can get rid of
Thank you all for watching our tutorial.
If you have any questions, sometimes it takes a little while.
Box below.
Don't forget to give us the thumbs up, same color,
and subscribe to our channel, SK Graphics.
Just because there's so many different greens, and see, you see in this one here, it didn't
never stop
recognize
learning.
The same green, and that's because they're mostly all different. So I'm just going to continue to. I'm just on the V tool and selecting and deleting. You can also do Q. That will give you your lasso tool, and it gives you more of a refined where you can actually go in here and make these curvature selections around your flower and delete them that way. I got part of the rose, but that's okay because I'm just showing you. So there you have it. That is how you image trace. I didn't get all the green around it, but that's okay because I'm just showing you the process.
Thank you all for watching our tutorial. If you have any questions, please submit them in the comment box below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, SK Graphics. Stay tuned for our next tutorial, and always remember, never stop learning.